Beep-o-doo, it's Dr Pusycat. It's normal and healthy to masturbate, but if it turns into an addiction, it can totally destroy your social life. And plus, it's totally unrealistic to experience sexual desire for a cartoon character. Good grief.
Well, Chris, tell me just one thing about Mom. Is she bigger than me?
This program is now TVMA because of what Meg just said.
Adult animation. What a mixed bag.
Well, let me tell you what kind of mixed bag.
We've seen everything from mega hits that have eventually reached unkillable god status, to shows that look like they were made in a week. While a lot of adult animation is the same boring recycled art styles and plots, when artists are free to make something they actually care about, we get some really cool stuff that proves that animation isn't just for kids. But some studios don't just make adult animation, they focus on it, and it's one of those that I want to talk about today. Bobbypills is the only studio in all of Europe that specializes purely on adult animation, and they have made some out there stuff. Have you ever seen a pink-haired cat lady and wondered, what's this from? And why do I feel like this? Chances are, you've seen Bobbypills. Well, their shows are...
Oh, sweet Jesus, did it fucking Christ!
A lot. Like, it's gonna be a struggle to upload this one.
For God's sake, censor it! Censor it!
I think they have such a unique charm that it's worth trying to convince you guys to give them a shot. That is, unless you're too afraid.
Cowards!
For the rest of you, open up, cause it's time to take your medicine. And I didn't mean your mouth.
It's a suppository.
Not it!
I'm your host, in 51st Shade of Grey, D'Angelo Edwards. And today, I'm taking my hat off to Bobbypills.
It goes ba-bum, ba-bum, bum, click, bum, ba-bum, ba-bum, bum, click, bum.
We need more bad guys to smash.
Bum, click, bum. I be Lord of the Rings, I manifest. Represent from the den, I don't wear no vest. I got a heart in my chest, it goes ba-bum, ba-bum. I sway halfway, the day's hump, get over. I be Lord of the Rings, I manifest.
I'll put a shot to your
system. I
system.
don't wear no vest. I got a heart in my chest, it goes ba-bum, ba-bum. I sway halfway, the day's hump, get over. One out the ring, so now you got...
So, how's this supposed to... how do...
Don't talk. Let me handle it.
Oh, refreshing.
Let's start off with Vermin, a show Bobbypills itself describes as Zootopia, but without being tolerant. That's how I describe South Dakota.
Well, we're still welcome in North Dakota and Arizona.
Arizona smells funny.
Vermin tells the story of Reggie, a praying mantis who leaves his hometown to follow in his father's footsteps as a police officer, despite some very good reasons to stay home.
I want to tell you something. If you ever come back, I promise I'll show you my put. I'll let you touch my and even stick it in my...
But once he gets to the city and meets his less than desirable partner Sherlock, he realizes that maybe being a cop isn't all it's cracked up to be. When I first started watching, I thought I had this show figured out. Young rookie cop shows old grizzled cop how to fight for justice again. You know, that classic story. But this isn't a show about him making her better. It's a show about her making him worse.
Enjoy sleeping in.
I'm gonna murder her.
No, don't do that.
Let's murder her together!
This show does not shy away from how terrible cities can get and how corrupt the police have become. And again, we've been making crooked cop movies since the 60s. We know what they're about now. And though the characters are terrible people for the most part, at least they're a ton of fun to watch.
Come on, pull the trigger! Put it in there if you wanna! Show us your fucking goddamn balls! Shoot me now! Just do it!
I'll have what he's having.
Reggie starts off as this fresh-faced new recruit, hopeful and ready to serve his community. The only problem is the community wants nothing to do with him.
I'll show you what love is! Stop the train!
As soon as he gets there, his bags are stolen, and he's arrested by Sherlock after hitting him with her car. Not the best first impression.
If we survive, I want you to know it's been the most exciting day of my entire life! Shut up!
While you can tell that he's trying to do the right thing, it's obvious he's in over his head here. As the show goes on, he goes from honest and upstanding to almost as bad as his partner. It's kind of nice in a self-destructive kind of way. Speaking of, Sherlock is your classic corrupt cop. She gets drunk at work, does business with drug bosses, and more often than not, her pooping doesn't involve the toilet. I didn't really know what to expect from her. She was hilarious, sure, but I thought we would dig more into her past and how she got here. We see pretty early on that she has some trauma after seeing her best friend get killed, but it doesn't feel like that's what causes her to go off the deep edge. Kinda feels more like you gave her an excuse to be a horrible person. She does get her revenge eventually, well, in a way.
Oh my gosh, what are you doing? Get the fuck out! You're ruining everything! Get the fuck out! That's enough! Release this innocent man! What the fuck are you talking about? He killed my partner!
But nothing really changes about her. She's still the same foul-mouthed fly we all know and love. The two of them make a great team though. Oh, not in terms of police work, they are terrible. But from a comedy standpoint, it's great. They both take things way too far, but in opposite directions. Reggie is always trying to fix stuff and ends up overcorrecting. And Sherlock is ready to kill anyone who looks at her funny. And they get into some crazy situations together. They infiltrate a drug cartel. Reggie shares a very sensual moment with Spider-Man for some reason. And I can't even show you what happens in episode 5. Okay, maybe just a little.
Help! She's stealing my secret juice!
Besides the main duo, the side characters are great too. I really love the two cops that mess with Reg and Sherlock. They suck in the second best way possible. And the chief really just gets me.
Look at that, 40 million views. I've spent 6 months busting my ass making videos. You think my 24 views will help me pay child support to that bitch?
I also love the world they live in. I like when anthropomorphic characters exist in a world that makes sense to the animal. Everything is oversized and made out of discarded trash. It's like Olimar went to the wrong neighborhood in Pikmin. The art style does a really good job at showing off all the different types of bugs too. These are some great designs across the board. And while the animation is mostly limited, when the action kicks in, it looks great.
Kill the heathen!
I will say that if you're not the biggest fan of gross out stuff or raunchy stuff, this probably won't be your cup of tea, but you could say that for literally every show I'm talking about today, so if you want to bail now, I won't blame you. I really thought this was just gonna be your standard tale of two cops bringing back some decency to the force, but if anything, they destroy any lingering hope we had in the Boys in Blue, and that's kind of refreshing in the world we live in. Like, these are not good cops at all. With big laughs, big action, and big other stuff, Vermin was a blast to watch, and I really hope they make more. There was a page on their website teasing seasons 2 and 3, but as far as I can tell, it's been removed, so that might be a no-go. But I hope we get some more, because this show is nuts and I need it. There's a thin blue line between comedy and commentary, and this show walks it in style.
I don't even know if the chief would accept.
Chief McCoy, can Montos come back to work?
That dickhead's finished.
How about for $12 and change?
Okay.
That's enough, man-eater! From now on, I'm your one and only friend!
Now that we've gotten past the relatively tame start of Vermin, let's try and push YouTube's guidelines a bit further. Crisis Jung tells the story of a pent-up man who just wants a release. Emotionally. What starts as two lovers enjoying a nice sunny day quickly spirals into Fist of the North Star styled revenge quest to defeat Little Jesus, the overlord of this hellish new wasteland. He kidnaps the lover of our hero, but don't worry, because he'll definitely save her.
Wait a tick. That means I'm single again!
Oh, behave!
Now the broken-hearted hero seeks the body of his dead soulmate, and he'll do anything to reclaim it, even if he has to kill everyone in his way. I'm not gonna pretend I completely understand this show, and to be honest, I have a sneaking suspicion that not all of it is supposed to be taken seriously.
They have gone past the mountain that looks like me.
The main character is named Jung, and after being defeated by Little Jesus, he trains in the art of very, very hard punching, and he's gonna need it to survive in this place. All the water is gone, men and women are forced into slavery as concubines, and when people give in to their desires, they become chainsaw dick psychopaths. That's why I couldn't live here. I see one trailer for The Rookie and I'm done. While the non-stop action and the shonen overtones are super entertaining to watch, a big part of the show is actually the psychological aspect. One of the show's directors, Jeremy Hero, has put a lot of his own therapy into the show. He wasn't always the best with women, and as a kid, he used to get in trouble with his dad for drawing porn. Joke's on you, Dad. Now this is his job. But he put a lot of his therapy into the show, so all of the main bosses that Jung ends up going against are aspects of himself that he must improve. It's actually a really good depiction of how art, along with the right support, can help you out a ton. But at the same time, it's never quite that deep.
Little man, you and I will need maturity.
I've got what you need. Sissies.
Like I said, this whole thing is a big Fist of the North Star parody, so violence is definitely going to occur, and it's not always going to be justified. The fights are really fun though, with some great animation. Definitely limited, but with this being an anime parody, the animation reuse just kind of adds to it. And they add new transformations and attacks to keep it fresh, which Jung usually learns after being smacked into a giant stone hand that erupts from the ground and gives him therapy.
What the fuck?
Like I said, I don't completely understand this show, but it's still pretty enjoyable. Most of the characters are pretty one note, but they play their role well and keep Jung in check, and it can be really funny at times.
And it was written a long, long time ago that one day you would come to me and that you would ask me where to find the headless corpse of the woman you love, and that I wouldn't answer you.
It is a lot to take in though, and there are parts that will definitely scare off the more squeamish types. If you want something a bit more reserved, then maybe Last Man will be more your speed. Jeremy also worked on that, and him and all the other animators did some great work on it. There's also Mars Express that was directed by the writer of Crisis Jung, and that looks really cool too. All in all, Crisis Jung is a big stupid ball of self-reflection with an ending that needs to be seen to be believed. And trust me, I will never forget what I watched, whether I like it or not. And I do.
I call upon fire!
What do we have here? It's white hair. And that can only mean that the thief has white hair. Wait, are you the thief, Kevin?
No way! I'm not some freaking vegan asshole, you know that.
Oh, yeah.
You guys ever watch Furry Force?
I don't like this!
Well, here's something slightly less disturbing.
I can still feel everything.
Slightly. Okay, we are at the big one, and the one that is most likely going to make uploading this suck. Peep-a-Doo is what Bobbypills is mostly known for. I still remember back when I discovered it. It was so shocking and out there, but I couldn't look away. It follows the main character Peep-a-Doo as he lives his life in the magical forest with his friends Tuffalo and Kevin. The short, usually no more than 5-minute long episodes show the gang getting into various problems, usually of a sexual nature, before getting set straight by Dr. Pusycat, the doctor and mentor of the whole forest.
Dr. Pusycat! Do you have the answer?
I would say that Mr. Bunny has been taking vegetables that have pretty much the same shape as big hard dicks and used them to anally stimulate his prostate.
Oh! She's also a big reason the show is so popular. I see more merchant art of her than Peep-a-Doo. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and move this over here. Actually, get Endive off there. You guys are just cowards.
You niggas can't pick your damn 120-pound girlfriend up, nigga. I'm picking up the 300-pound bitches at the Jamaican dance hall, nigga.
It was created by Yves Vigeren, better known as Balak. He's probably best known for creating the show Les Casos, which is a trip in itself.
Remember, we said not before we're married.
Are you sure you're alright?
Yeah, don't worry, I know.
He's also one of the co-creators of Last Man, that show I mentioned earlier, though it started off as a comic. But back to the show. When the show was starting production, Balak and his team realized they didn't have much money, so they had to find a way to make things work on a budget. The idea the team reached was to make the show look like a preschool show. Some of those things look like they're held together with duct tape, so it would be a breeze to make some simple backgrounds and some fun characters. But instead of teaching kids their ABCs, they would instead be teaching adults about sex. That spells sex. And they are not playing around either. They are getting into it. Everything from how to prevent STDs to the dangers of falling for your waifu too hard.
Wow, I just love making you happy, Butter-Chan.
No way, Peep-a-Doo! Don't tell me you've turned into one of those fucking otaku no-lifes!
They actually go pretty in depth with the info here too. Like, I didn't know grapefruit juice stopped Viagra from working. How many marriages were ruined because some dude just wanted a fresca?
That goes nothing! Tastes like fresca!
I won't lie though, some of the visuals are... well, let's just say they're a lot. If you are squeamish about stuff like this show really isn't for you.
What's that? It's a penis. No, it's not!
Heck, even if you think you are the most open-minded person in the world, I can guarantee you there are parts that scare you. Little tip from me, be very careful around episodes 3 and 9, 3 especially. I'm just gonna say that some of those scenes were slightly less boring and leave it at that. But the appeal in the show isn't just in the knowledge it imparts, it's kinda just a fun watch.
The only way to get relief would be to confess your feelings to Tonio.
Confess my feelings?
Yes, that's right. Now give me your insurance card.
Staring at the ceiling, so alone in my bed, wishing you are here so you can understand.
The characters are all really stupid, but in a charming way. Peep-a-Doo is just this little ball of innocence who just happens to participate in the occasional orgy. Tuffalo is my favorite though, just this alpha male that struts around the forest like he owns the place. But most of the time, he's the one getting in the most trouble, either because of his sexist ways or his habit of putting pine cones up his wing.
Hey, who's that lady? I haven't seen her around here before.
I don't know, but she makes me want to write poems to her.
Oh yeah, with your dick!
The most surprising character though is Kevin, who starts as the smarter one of Peep-a-Doo's friends, though still dumb and goofy in their own way.
Oh, go on, Magic Tree. Let me feel all that magic in your throat.
As the show goes on, in a surprisingly tender moment, Kevin receives counseling from Dr. Pusycat and actually ends up transitioning, being called Evelyn for the rest of the show. And it's nice seeing how quick everyone is to accept her. Even Tuffalo acts cool about it, and he's like openly a bigot.
Oh wow! It's a postcard from Strobel, my foreign pen pal.
I don't like any foreigners.
Hey, come on, Tuffalo. It's not cool to be racist.
It's moments like this that show that Peep-a-Doo really is something special, even though it won't be for everyone. I think the problem I have with most gross out and sexual jokes in a lot of modern adult cartoons is that oftentimes it just feels so joyless. Sometimes it plays so grounded that there's no room for it to be funny, just off-putting. But with Peep-a-Doo, I know they were laughing their heads off drawing it, and pushing every joke as far as they could. It's more Newground schlock than corporate slop, and everyone on the team worked super hard on it. The style is once again limited animation, and in the first few episodes, everything is pretty standard. If it wasn't for the fact that everyone is just hanging dong, you would think this is any other preschool show. And this was by design. Again, they picked this style because they knew it would be easy to animate, but as time went on and they started getting bored with what they were creating, they really started to push the style. The angles got more dynamic, they started playing with mixed media, and when that tiny budget finally started to give way, they did stuff like an episode of a fake podcast and a fake crime show that was mostly stills. There is an entire episode that's just a loop of Cuffalo Jack in it for 5 minutes, but it worked because of the jokes and the likable characters. I think the reason this show felt so fun to watch was because the crew had so much fun working on it. Watching the behind the scenes stuff, it really looks like a bunch of talented horny people having the time of their lives. It actually feels like a studio that just wants to make animation, and the type of animation that they want, without having to compromise on content. For some of the crew, it was their first time working in the industry. Fresh out of college, now it's time to draw dicks.
I guess you were wrong, Hank. Dreams do come true.
Some people didn't even want a day off because they were having so much fun drawing. Like, are you kidding me? Do you know the lengths that some people will go just to avoid going to work? Luckily, due to their hard work, Peep-a-Doo was a success, globally even, gaining fans from all across the world. But when it came time to start on season 2, they had a hard time finding someone to pay for it. Can't imagine why. Yeah, no one wanted to make a show that was basically anatomically correct Peppa Pig, despite the fact that the show was educational and pretty funny. None of the streamers wanted to pick it up, but you can't leave a job half done. You have to go all the way to the climax. Yep, they took the series to Kickstarter, and not only did they hit their goal, they made enough to make 2 extra episodes. And I'm super glad they did, because the second season of Peep-a-Doo blows the first out of the water. The animation is better, we get to travel through space getting into hijinks with high kinks, and the story goes places. It's such a good show, and with the episodes being so short, you can knock the whole thing out in a little over an hour. Not that it's about how fast you finish, mind you.
My wiener is pocket-sized, but it's perfect in my eyes. I don't care what people say. I can still jerk off every day.
The first season was translated into English, and it's a pretty decent dub, but the second season is still in French with subtitles. You can watch all of it online officially for free, so if all this didn't terrify you, give it a watch. And if any of it turned you on, then this show will help explain that too.
Sorry. Oh, shit! Hey.
Seduce him.
Alright, now we're finally at the most recent and my favorite of Bobbypills projects, Captain Laserhawk: A Blood Dragon Remix, a combo production by Bobbypills, Ubisoft, and the Bootleg Universe. If that last one doesn't sound familiar, they're a studio founded by Adi Shankar. Adi and his studio went on to make some pretty cool stuff like Dread and the Guardians of Justice, which I haven't seen yet, but I've heard good things. He even show-ran Castlevania, my second favorite of the Powerhouse cartoons. But enough about him, let's get back to the show. Captain Laserhawk follows Dolph Laserhawk, an ex-soldier turned fugitive, as he tries to escape from Eden, an all-controlling tech corporation that has absorbed all of America and once employed him. Whoa, unchecked power and wealth leading to a full-blown dystopia? The world of animation never fails to make such out there concepts. He's joined by Alex Taylor, his partner in crime and in life, and together they hatch a plan to steal a cartridge capable of making all their dreams come true. Sadly, at the last minute, Alex decides to pull the Ethernet cable on their relationship and betrays Dolph to continue his fight against Eden. Now recaptured, Dolph and a ragtag group of criminals have bombs planted in their heads and are now under the control of Warden Sarah, in direct opposition to Alex. What are they, some kind of manslaughter mob? What are they, some kind of kamikaze crew? What are they, some kind of homicide homies?
What, we some kind of suicide squad?
I mean, I guess that works too. The first thing that popped out to me about this show was its video game connections. Especially nowadays, there are plenty of video game adaptations out there, but most of those shows are usually based on singular game franchises. You know, your Marios, your Sonics. But this is the first time I've ever seen a show just based on the whole company, and I was so excited to see my favorite characters, like Alex from The Crew, or Pagan Min from Far Cry 4.
Who?
Oh look, there's Rayman. Hi Rayman.
Who the fuck is this?
We can talk later. Yeah, I'm not like a super big Ubisoft guy. I grew up with Rayman and like Assassin's Creed 2, but that's about it. But the references I do get are appreciated. Like, I love that Jade and Paige from Beyond Good and Evil are here. I haven't played much of it, but I enjoyed what I did and I always liked how it looked, so it's really cool having them on the team. I also love seeing the mutated rabbits run amok. Ever since Rayman Origins and those Mario RPGs, it feels like a lot of people have softened up on them and hardened up in other places. The whole vibe of the show is taken from Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, with its 80s vibe. Lots of neon and lots of violence. They don't make them like that anymore, because that game came out in 2013. Never played it, but it looks cool. Kinda reminds me of Kung Fury. But it's not just video games, they even got wrestlers to join in on the fun. Big names too, like Kenny Omega and the American Nightmare himself, Cody Rhodes. I love wrestling, so seeing them here was really cool, even if it only amounted to a little more than a cameo. Speaking of, I hope you don't get attached to anyone in this show, because they are expendable. Bodies drop left and right as the show goes on, but I won't mention any major spoilers. At only 6 episodes, you'll get to them soon enough. This can happen at the show's detriment though. I know going in it was going to be short, but I would have loved more time with certain characters. All of them are pretty likable too, with Jade being this bright-eyed reporter searching for the truth, and Paige doing his best to look out for her.
Don't do femme fatale. I mean, I can pull off a lot of things, but femme fatale, fuck no.
Something I don't like though is that they do try and shoehorn the possibility of a relationship between her and Paige, and it's gross. It's just kinda gross. Especially with the familial way they're portrayed in the game. Part of me does think that they realize that though, with how Jade immediately shuts him down.
No. I mean, you're my uncle. Not really my uncle, but still, I mean, shit. Okay, let's get on with the mission.
They do a great job with Laserhawk too. For most of the show, he's just this stoic, no-nonsense character that is purely focused on getting revenge against Alex. But there are small flashes of the person he is deep down. In the first episode, you can clearly see he has a playful side and adrenaline junkie side. He's not just a heartless soldier, which is why Eden couldn't control him. And as the show goes on, we do get to see him get a bit of that humanity back. His relationship with Alex is really interesting too. While we can see that he was completely smitten with Alex, you immediately start seeing red flags. The age difference, the way he uses Dolph's affection as leverage, and how quickly he discards him. It's all just so icky. They actually ended up releasing a prequel comic about the start of their relationship, and if it didn't read as grooming before, then this book will shed a whole new light on their relationship. But even if Alex was no good for Laserhawk, it's really cool that we have a gay main character like this. Laserhawk is just your classic action hero, but he just happens to like dudes. Score 1 for progress. My favorite character, though, along with most people's, is Frog, the amphibian assassin. Throughout the whole show, he is the heart of it all. He's super funny, and even if he's in this situation by force, you can tell he's making the best of it. And he wants his new teammates to find whatever happiness they can in this moment. They even got Balak to voice him. This dude is a talent. I find it really interesting that they made the assassin character like this. Besides Laserhawk, he's the only one of them that is used to killing, but his code helped him keep his humanity. Frogmanity? Whatever, he's a great guy and I love him.
Was good. Want some? Wait. Tropical or orange?
As the show goes on, so much happens in these short 6 episodes. Like, there are some insane plot twists, especially in the last episode, and it is a blast to go through. The team did a great job working on this, and as their biggest project yet, there were a lot of adjustments that had to be made. They had to get used to working with a bigger team, they had to do a lot of 3D stuff, both to save time and just to kind of get the vibes they were going for. And even though this was a Netflix show, the budget still wasn't the biggest. So a whole new pipeline of work had to be created, just to keep the quality up without spending too much. Just watching the behind the scenes is enough to tell you how much work was put into this show. And it's the kind of work you can see. Like, imagine that Invincible trailer that everyone was drooling over, but as a full show. I can't overstate how good this thing looks. They even experimented with other mediums too, from live action scenes to PS1 inspired segments.
Welcome to the VR facility. What the hell is this nonsense?
Wait a sec, that's the nudes music.
Time for a new episode of
Adventure Time! Everybody's getting mad at me for nothing!
Take all of this and combine it with a story that keeps you on the edge of your seat, and you have a classic on your hands. Like, seriously, there is no reason a side story about Rayman should go this hard, but it does.
I said what I said. Really? Then why don't you say it to my face without cameras, you fucking red brick?
Shout out to the Wacky Deli if you want a full deep dive on his arc. It is nuts. In general, there's something for everyone here. Dystopian themes, 90s OVA action, toxic yaoi, and those are just the things I like. You'll be watching this thing thinking, no way, but then, yes way. There's even more stuff this show tackles, and right when you think it can't get any better, the credits roll on the final episode. Now it's been a year, and while the 6 episodes do a great job as a miniseries, there is so much room left for another season. Sadly though, things are not looking good in that department. There hasn't been any news of a second season, and the only new thing to come out of the franchise has been an NFT game.
Ah, sick!
But there also hasn't been any news of it being cancelled, so I still got hope. This is a show that deserves to be finished. And those are the main shows by Bobbypills. There are a few things I didn't mention, like the Dead Cells shorts they did, and Bambi Fontaine's Midnight Stories. But they don't list Dead Cells as one of their works on their website, and the other one is just porn, so forgive me if I don't want to push this video even further. While I enjoyed all of these, I think what I really came out of with this was a big love for Bobbypills themselves. Like, watching all the behind the scenes stuff just made me smile, seeing all of them create or just have fun with each other. The best stuff happens in an environment where everyone cares about what they're doing, and I can't think of a better way to describe Bobbypills. Sure, their stuff might not be for everyone, but they don't care because it's for someone, and most of all, it's for them. You'll never make anything good if the first person you want to entertain isn't yourself, and this is a studio full of those kind of people. So clean up that wet spot and give their stuff a chance.